happened.
Right.
And that's kind of like the story behind why drunk people can't remember the night before is because they went out for a ride with Pooka. Pooka picked him up
That's
on the way
funny.
home. That's why he can't remember his night. Not because he was
And they
terribly drunk.
no, and it was, up to mischief, but it wasn't really him, it was the Pooka.
It was the Pooka that did that. The
The
Pooka
Pooka that
broke
did it.
everything in town and caused the vandalism. Not me being drunk. Wasn't me, it was the
No.
Pooka. This is kind of creepy. As the horse, he sometimes would call your name from the outside of your house to try to get you to go for a ride with him. No, thank you.
No. Thank
No, thank
you.
you.
I'll pass.
If you refused to ride, he would be offended and he would vandalize your home and kill all your crops. So he'd get pissed and he would, like, I'll show you. So the only person to successfully ride the Pooka was the High King of Ireland, Brian Boru. And he is said to have made a bridle out of 3 hairs from the Pooka's tail. And he was able to stand on the Pooka's back until he surrendered. He could stay on it. He didn't get bucked off. He rode the town, like he jumped on it himself. The king made him make 2 promises. One, that he could no longer torture Christian people and ruin their property. And 2, never again attack an Irishman except if they're very drunk or had evil intent. And the Pooka said, "Oh yeah, sure, I won't do that anymore. Just let me go." And he did. And well, the Pooka's a liar, so he was
Yeah.
like, "I'm not keeping that promise," and he never did. So, but and no one ever tried to ride him successfully after that because they knew it wouldn't matter. He'd still do bad things. This it's kind of creepy because the Pooka's always sighted or seen before a disaster would happen. And as a human, he will approach someone to talk because they really like talking. They love chatting. They have the gift of gab, and they like to give advice or make prophecies or give warnings. Sometimes people saw him as a good thing because they could give him warning about something bad that could happen, maybe prepare them for it. Other people just were like freaked out because like this dude showed up and started telling me bad things are going to happen to me. They can sit and talk to you for hours and then suddenly they'll disappear. They never say goodbye and they will leave you guessing or wondering, did that really happen? Like, where did that person
Right.
go? Was I just asleep? Was that a dream? Am I going losing my mind? What's going on?
Yeah.
He will come up and talk to you about your life and things that happen in your life that no one else would ever know, and so it catches you off guard. And then he will warn you of a horrible event that's going to happen to you.
Yikes.
However, they were never around when that bad thing happened. They will go hide and then just watch from afar, laughing and taking joy out of watching it happen to you. They're like, "Oh, their lives get ruined." Great. They're little assholes.
Little assholes, right.
In rural areas in Ireland, you will likely see a bench at the right side of the door of a home. Also, the gateposts on the right side of their property will be smooth. On the left, there'll be a rocky and some uncomfortable mound or something there that would make you not want to sit there. This is because the idea or the legend is that a good puka will sit and stand to the right, but a mischievous one will always be to the left. So they never made it comfortable on the left side of their door or at their gate because they didn't want the bad puka to hang out at their house. But they would
That's
make it comfortable
funny.
on the right, which is kind of cool. And I'm gonna look and see if I can find some pictures. But I think that's interesting. If they do that, I kind of want to do that in my house. There are some recordings of the legend that compare him to, well, say he's evil and bloodthirsty, comparing him to like a vampire, and he likes to eat flesh. However,
Yuck.
most stories are not that dramatic. They're more of him a prankster and a trickster, and just kind of an overall nuisance, not necessarily someone that wants to kill and eat people.
Right, right.
But there are some of those legends. Boys and girls were warned not to eat the overripe blackberries because the puka will enter your body. Never
What?
eating those overripe blackberries again because
Never.
apparently it probably has something to do with this spit. I don't know. Gross. Now, if you want to avoid the puka from like taking you for a ride, if you wear spurs, he won't pick you up. So that if you're drunk, just put your spurs on, walk around with spurs on all the time. You don't ever worry about it.
That is
So
funny.
the legend of the puka has made its way, like it's in literature and in pop culture. So, in Shakespeare's Midsummer Night Dream, Puck
Fuck.
is a
Yes.
Pooka. He's kind of inspired by the Pooka. He's mischievous and quick-witted and whatever. So he's inspired by that. And Darby O'Gillis and the Little People, or Darby O'Gill, Gillis.
Darby O'Gill and the Little People. I remember
Yeah.
watching it as a kid.
So the horse in it is
It's
a Pooka.
That's
That's
crazy. I didn't know
basically
that.
yeah,
That's an old Disney movie.
yeah, it is. It's super old. It's like the '60s or something, right?
Isn't
Maybe.
Sean Connery in it?
I don't know. Is he?
I'm pretty sure he is.
Oh, that's cool. They also mention him or refer to him in the Spiderwick Chronicles, the story. This is interesting. The rabbit in Donnie Darko is inspired by a puka, which kind of ties into the whole Easter bunny creepy thing and how he kind of
Yes.
convinces the main character to do bad things. Like that's part of the trickster side of him. And it
And it,
kind of a little bit, and I know that Mothman prophecies are a real thing, but it reminds me a little bit of the Mothman prophecies because of the whole showing up before something happens, kind of giving you warning of something happening. That's interesting. Um,
yeah.
I want to read a little thing that I found that happened recently about someone coming across a puka. Okay, so this is something recorded by Harding in July 2011. On Wednesday, 1st November 2006, about 7:30 p.m., Dennis O'Rourke, a businessman and investor, believes he met a puka. A strange and well-dressed man was outside the front gate of Dennis's home. The man struck up a conversation with Dennis, claiming he had known him for years. He went on to tell Dennis about his family, true facts that he could not have known, going over 3 generations, and how over years they had lost and gained money. This man,
Crazy.
who did not give his name, also said that the family finances were based on more than just heritage. They were also subject to greater economy of the nation. Over the next few years, O'Rourke witnessed not merely fiscal fall of the country, but also his family home and 2 other houses he had invested in law and his business. So he was got his own financial route. And there's been other reports, similar reports of this type of thing happening. And a lot of times people don't are too embarrassed to talk about it, and they don't really always know it's a puka when they're talking to them. They think about it later after things happen, like, oh my god, this person warned me of this once, and I didn't, and now this happened. Like, so it's
Crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. So that's just a little like kind of modern time where someone said they saw a puka. So pukas are creepy, but kind of cool. I can't wait to show the pictures of them, what they've been depicted as over the years. And there's lots of sightings throughout rural Ireland, throughout history, people saying they saw a puka. Some of
Cool.
it, I think, are just, people being drunk and rowdy and blaming it on the puka, but
Oh
some might
yeah.
be the puka. I don't know.
Well, if
All
a
right.
puka's smart and he's targeting drunk people, that's the best way to hide who you really are, you know?
Exactly. Right. Under the
Yeah.
guise of a drunk fool. So let's go on to the Clurichaun. They are the drunk cousin of a leprechaun.
Okay. I thought leprechauns were drunk.
No, leprechauns are hardworking little shoe cobblers. People get
Okay.
some of the things mixed up between the two. They can be confused with each other, and it makes them both pretty pissed off. They don't want to be known as each other, neither. Unlike the leprechaun, the Clurichaun doesn't like to work. They are pranksters, and they always have a jug in hand of something.
Alcoholic.
Getting drunk is their most favorite pastime. They like to get drunk, and that's what they do. They are known to guard pubs, breweries, and uh, but mostly like to hang out in wine cellars.
Fun.
Yeah, they're solitary and enjoy to drink alone, and they like to go out at night and wreak havoc and ride on the backs of sheep and dogs. The Clurichaun is only 6 inches high, with a wrinkled face and a twinkle in his eye, and he has a red nose from all the hard drinking he does.
Oh my gosh.
He wears a red cap, a red suit, and a short leather apron. He has blue stockings on, silver buckled shoes, and his magical coin purse. They do not wear green because they do not want to be. They would never be want to caught dead wearing green because they do not want to be mistaken as a leprechaun. They're not a leprechaun, and they don't want anyone to think they are. And they don't want to fix your shoes for you. His magical coin purse contains a lucky shilling, and no matter how many times he spends it, it ends right back up in that purse again.
I need to get that first.
Well, mortals try, but they try to capture him, but it's really difficult to do because he's little and he's fast. He can be very ornery, probably because he's drunk all the time. He will often carry two coin purses, one with an ordinary coin, the other one with his special coin in it. And when he gets captured, he tricks them into thinking they're getting the good one, and then he escapes and disappears. They can be merry and charming, and if they're happy, and you can hear them from your wine cellars singing Irish folk songs. If you piss them off, though, no, because if you piss them off, their pranks can be very unpleasant. They attach themselves to families a lot, especially if you have a good wine cellar or you have a really stocked liquor cabinet. Then they're going to be your friend, and they'll become very loyal to you, and they'll guard that stuff with their life. But if they get pissed at you, if you do something that they don't like don't stock the liquor cabinet the way you should, or anything, if your servants don't feed them or something, they will destroy your home, jump out. Even they'll like hurt themselves by they'll jump out all your good wine, and they will like beat people up if they don't get what they want. Once you have one in your home, it's really hard to get rid of them. You can move, you can do whatever you want, and they're going to follow you wherever you go, even if they're pissed at you. They're not going to go anywhere. They're going to stay with you and bug you until you give them what they want. It's kind of like what do they call the Bogart?
Yeah, Bogart.
Bogart. Bogart. That's it.
Bogart.
Bogart.
Yes.
They really enjoy tormenting drunk people, and also dishonest servants. If they see a servant stealing or doing something wrong in a home, because usually, if you have a wine cellar, you're probably a noble person or a rich person,
right?
So you have people in your home caring for things. If
Most
they see
of
them
us don't have a wine cellar,
No, we're not going to have to worry about having him in our house.
I have a top of the fridge.
Yeah, I know.
Where I store my wine.
Yeah, and I haven't seen one up there yet. So mine's not very stocked either. But the funny thing is, like, he hates to see dishonest people and drunks, but he is both those things.
Yeah.
So like he's pissed. Like, no, you won't. I'm gonna torment you for being me. He doesn't want it.
Right.
In the tale called The Master and Man, they're described as being able to pass through a keyhole to get into homes. They can turn bog rushes, which I'm assuming are like brushes and stuff, into a horse, and they can fly on those rushes like a witch on a broom. So they're little crafty guys. And Nicholas O'Kearney in 1855 said any wine cellar known to have haunted by one of these sprites was destined to be the undoing of the family or the person who owned it. Like, he's not, he might seem cute at first, but he's not going to be cute after a while, and it's going to torment you for the rest of your life. So basically, I really think, like, that the Clurichaun should be the patron of St. Patrick's Day. Like, it should be the Clurichaun Day, because we're all about drinking, and raising and shenanigans. I really feel like that we should swap out we have leprechauns up all the time for it, but really it should be their cousin, the drunk cousin.
It really should. You're right.
Because
I think we in America have confused the two little creatures.
I think we've combined the stories together, and they're not the same. And another interesting thing, because I was reading a lot of different stuff, did you know that St. Patrick's Day, or the St. Patrick, his, what do you want to call it?
Claim to fame?
No, not claim to fame, but St. Patrick had a monastery, or like, not monastery, but a priesthood or whatever, priests of the St. Patrick or whatever. They didn't wear green, they were blue. And green has nothing to do with St. Patrick. And the only reason why green is now is because when people fled Ireland and came here with St. Patrick's Day, became more of less of a like a